All right, Salaki about that. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yashab Bakathum to the brothers, and Shalom. Yahweh Shamar Alathun Bashem Yahweh to the sisters. It's the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. All right. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. Right. Tonight's the Lashawan Qadash class. A very important class to attend. This is our language. If you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, all right, this is the language of our forefathers, the language of our ancestors. You understand? Like Abraham spoke Hebrew, Isaac spoke Hebrew, Jacob, the Israelites spoke Hebrew, Christ spoke Hebrew, the priests and prophets of the Lord spoke Hebrew, God speaks Hebrew, the angels speak Hebrew. So you cannot escape the fact of you learning how to speak Hebrew. You understand? You do not want to try to you don't want to try to escape that fact. All right. You have to learn Hebrew. We have to learn how to speak Hebrew. Like this is a part of establishing the kingdom of heaven, which is learning the language of the Most High, learning the language of our forefathers, our ancestors who are the Israelites, because we are the Israelites. If anybody has any questions, just put it into the live chat. Don't forget to put your name, city, and state in the live chat. Don't forget to check in and sign in, all right? And so the first thing we're going to start off with is the alphabet, all right? And we're going to go over some before we go into the conjugations, we're going to go over a little bit of grammar first. I know it's probably been a little bit since we've seen the grammar and different things, but we're going to go over the pronouns and different kind of pronouns, all right? Like your subject pronouns, your object pronouns, and your possessive pronouns. We're going to go over things like that. We're going to touch bases on a few things of grammar so we don't forget it. All right, you don't want to forget grammar. All right, and most importantly, all right, the Passover is coming. Passover is next week. All right, you're going to see when we're reading the Hebrew how important it really is. All right, to speak that Hebrew and read in Hebrew. Like it's very important, very, very important. All right. So the first letter we have is your I. You have your I in the Syrian, then you have your I in the ancient. Next is you have your Ba. You have your Ba. You have your Ba in the Syrian, then you have your Ba in the ancient. Next is you have your Ga. You have your Ga in the Syrian, then you have your Ga in the ancient. You have your Da. You have your Da in the Syrian, then you have your Da in the ancient. You have your Ha. You have your Ha in the Syrian, then you have your Ha in the ancient. You have your Wa. You have your Wa in the Syrian, then you have your Wa in the ancient. You have your Za. You have your Za in the Syrian, then you have your Za in the ancient. You have your Kha. You have your Kha in the Syrian, then you have your Kha in the ancient. Now remember, it's like you're scratching the back of your throat. So it's like Kha, your Kha, your Kha. All right? Salaki. You have your Ta. You have your Ta in the Syrian, then you have your Ta in the ancient. You have your ya. You have your ya in the Syrian, then you have your ya in the ancient. Then you have your ka. You have your ka in the Syrian, then you have your ka in the ancient. Then you have your la. You have your la in the Syrian, then you have your la in the ancient. You have your ma. You have your ma in the Syrian, then you have your ma in the ancient. Now, just like your ka, right? And your ma, very similar. Pay attention to the letters on the left. All right, for anyone new in the class, pay in the Syrian script. Pay attention to the letter on the left where the arrow is pointing to. This is how you know a word ends with that letter. If it looks like that, that's how you know it's a ma, and that's the end of the word. All right, that's the end of it. So you know that that word ends with ma. All right, or the word ends with ka, and there's others like it, like the letter na. You have the letter na. This is your na in the Syrian, and you have your na in the ancient. You have the letter sa. All right, you have your sa in the Syrian. You have the sa in the ancient. All right, and shalom, Yahweh Shem Yashai Bakatah to Officer Mataza'ah Kara. I see you come in. All right. All right. Next is the letter I. You have the letter I in the Syrian. You have the letter I in the ancient. Now the letter I literally comes from your eyes. I tell brothers and sisters all the time. All right. Before our language was characteristic, it was pictographic. All right. And the letter I literally comes from your eye. It was a picture of your actual eye. All right. So that's why it's pronounced I. That's where the letter I actually comes from. All right. From right there. Next is your pa. You have your pa. You have your pa in the Syrian, and you have your pa in the ancient. Next is your taza. You have your taza in the Syrian, then you have your taza in the ancient. You have your qua. You have your qua in the Syrian, then you have your qua in the ancient. You have your ra. You have your ra in the Syrian, then you have your ra in the ancient. You have your sha. You have your Shah in the Syrian, and you have your Shah in the ancient. Then you have your Tha. You have your Tha in the Syrian, then you have your Tha in the ancient. All right. Okay. Okay. So a little bit of grammar before we really get in and dive into the lesson of conjugations. All right. And remember, conjugations is a part of sentence structuring anyway. And so you want to learn Hebrew prefixes. All right. You want to study these prefixes. All right. And so I'm gonna leave this on the screen just for a second. All right. Or just for like a little minute. All right, and I want y'all to focus, all right, on Yah, which is yes, like your Yah, which is he, right? But focus on using conjunction with verbs. Look at that. Don't just let that, you know, go out the window. All right. Then you have your ha. Your ha is the tha, right? So when ha, now these are used in conjunction with nouns or words in general, all right, meaning they're connected. They're not separated, they're not their own word. Like these Hebrew prefixes are in front of a word. That's what prefix means, meaning in front. A suffix meaning is at the end. All right, so prefix is at the front, suffix is at the end. And so these are the letters that you're going to see in front of a word, but these are actually words and they mean something. So, like your ha meaning the, your ba meaning in, your wa meaning and, your la meaning to or for, your ka meaning like or as, your shal meaning who, which, cause, sake. All right. Your ma meaning from. Like this is these are your Hebrew prefixes, and you want to know that these words actually have meaning to them. All right, these letters, Salaki, these letters have meaning to them. They're not just random letters put in front of words. All right, unlike the English. All right, all right. Well, unlike Hebrew, in English, these words could be by themselves, but in Hebrew, they're connected to the word that you're using that you're using it within conjunction with. All right, so you want to pay attention to these Hebrew prefixes. All right, I'm gonna keep them on the board just for a little bit, 1 second as well. So lock you. All right. So now, if you guys have any questions, just let me know too as well. All right. But this is a part of grammar that's definitely needed and that we need to know. And so now we're going to do a brief refresher of the different kinds of pronouns. All right. In particular, possessive pronouns. Now, possessive pronouns will always be at the end of a noun. So a possessive pronoun is a suffix. All right. Remember, I told you got Hebrew prefixes and then you have Hebrew suffixes, right? And so possessive pronouns, all right, and also your object pronouns, those are Hebrew suffixes, meaning you're going to find these letters at the end of a word. And remember, these letters have a um, actually, right? These letters have a meaning to them, meaning they're actual words. They're not just random letters of a word. Those letters that are added to these nouns, they actually means something. All right. So you have your possessive pronouns, you have your ya, which is your my, all right? Your ya, which is your my. So you will see this like, if you want to say this is my home, right? You would say bayath ya. Bayath ya meaning my home or my house. Salaki. You have your ka, which is your. So you have your ka, which is your. And Shalom, I see you, troop. Yahweh Shem Yashar Bakatah. Kachuba Shemai Gabar. That's in Christ. So you got your ka, which is your. Next, you have your wa. You have your wa, which is his. You have your ha. You have your ha in the Syrian, and you have your ha in the ancient, meaning hers. Don't forget, possessive pronouns will always be at the end of a noun. You do not want to forget that. These are found at the end of a noun. You want to understand and get familiar with these pronouns. Get very familiar with these pronouns. You have Noah, all right? Noah or Noah, meaning our. So if we want to say this is our table, all right? You would say Shalkhan Noah. Shalkhan meaning table, Noah meaning our. Shalkhan Noah. Our cup, Kawas Noah. Our cup, Kawas Noah. Something along those lines, right? Like Kawas, all right? You have your calm, all right, meaning y'all or you all in the masculine tense, all right. So in our language, all right, gender does matter, all right, and position matters. Gender and position matters in our language. So because position and gender matters, all right, we have a masculine tense or a position of authority tense, and we have a feminine tense or a subservient tense. All right. And those kind of tenses, meaning how you, well, those tenses are not like your past or present or future, but these tenses are based on who you are talking to and who is talking. All right. That's what those tenses are based on. Past, present, and future tense is based on when you are talking, right? And when you are talking about and etc. etc. But your tenses when it comes to your masculine tense or feminine tense, position of authority tense, subservient tense, this is based on who is talking or who you're talking to. All right. Who is talking and who you are talking to. All right. Keep that in mind. Next you have is your Khan. You have your Khan in the possessive, you have your Khan in the Syrian and the ancient. And this is you all in the feminine. All right. This is you all in the feminine. All right. Now, if you see Khan and it's attached to a noun, This is how you know that it's talking about you all, but in the feminine tense. Now we do have a word, con, meaning yes, but that would never be connected to anything. That's its own word. So you would see con by itself, and it means yes. All right. So, all right, just keep that in mind. Don't confuse the two. All right. I've seen someone confuse it, and it's no sweat. It happens because you're new to the language. You're wondering what it is, and so don't think that this con means a yes at the end of a noun. Okay. And when you see a con that's attached to a noun and it's at the end of it as a suffix, you know that it's con, meaning you all or y'all in the feminine tense or the subservient tense. All right. Next you have is your ma. You have your ma in the Syrian, you have your ma in the ancient. Ma meaning there, all right? Like there, once again, there, um, their brother, right? It'll be Akma, Akma, Akma. That's their brother, but in the masculine sense, Akma, all right? Then you have your Na, all right? You have your Na in the Syrian, you have your Na in the ancient. Now your Na is there, but in the feminine, all right? Meaning this is, you have your Ma, which was masculine, meaning that there was referring to, most likely brothers. And then you have your Na, right, in the feminine, meaning you're mostly talking about a group of sisters in this case, all right? Or you're referring to a group of sisters because you're using the word there, all right? Meaning you're referencing sisters of whatever is theirs, right? Because this is a possessive pronoun, and you just go on from there, all right? Like that's their sister. You would say, you know, Akwafna, that's their sister, or that's their father, Abana, things like that. Like Abana, that's their father. Amana, Amana, meaning that's their mother, all right? But in the sense of course, in reference of women, sisters, that's who you're talking about. In this case, that's who you're talking about. Hmm. Did I make an own slide for it? Hmm. So, like you, one second. I'm trying to see. Did I not make a slide for? I know I made a slide for this. I know I made a slide for ah. All right, we're going to continue. Next, we're going to go to object pronouns. So it's good that we're going to go. All right. It's good that we're going to um, get the grammar of object pronouns because we're dealing with conjugations, right? And because we're dealing with conjugations and we're learning how to conjugate verbs, which is the essence of structuring sentences. All right, conjugating verbs is the essence in Hebrew, structuring sentences. And in order to structure a sentence, at the minimum, you have to have a verb. You don't. If you don't have a verb, then I don't know what to tell you. All right, but at the minimum, you need a verb. You need a subject. You need a subject pronoun. All right, and you need a verb, and ironically, you can have an object pronoun, and then you can create a sentence, a basic sentence too, when it comes to basic sentence structuring. All right, so you have object pronouns. All right, object pronouns are very similar to possessive pronouns. The only difference between an object pronoun and a possessive pronoun is a object pronoun is used in conjunction with verbs. Unlike the possessive pronoun, a possessive pronoun is used with nouns, but object pronouns are used in conjunction with verbs, meaning they're very the same. They're the same lettering, right? Just a different meaning, a little, just a little. I wouldn't say a different meaning. They're they're very the same, very similar, same letter, but just used with a verb. All right, that's what an object pronoun is. It's the same as a possessive pronoun. It's just used with a verb and slightly different. Of course, knowing the English, you guys know what I'm saying. All right. So you have your yeah, which is the Syrian. All right, which is me. All right, you have your me. You have your ka. You have your ka, which is you. You have your wa, which is him. So, like for an example, right, how an object pronoun is used. In some cases, not always used, because after this we're going to go over ath, all right, because ath is very important to go over as grammar, because especially if we're dealing with conjugations, all right, you want to know ath because ath and object pronouns go hand in hand too as well, because object pronouns and ath are also used in conjunction with verbs, all right. But you have your why, which is him. So let's say, for an example, you want to say give him, right? You can say Nathanwa, right? Nathanwa meaning him, right? Nathanwa meaning give him. Nathan meaning to give, then wa meaning him. Nathanwa meaning give him, all right? You have your her, which is her. You have your nawa, meaning us. Your Nawa, meaning us. You have your Kam. All right. You have Kam. This is your you all. Y'all or you plural. But this is in the masculine tense. Like I said, just like your possessive pronouns, but these are your object pronouns. You have your Khan. All right. It's like you have your Khan. All right. This is your y'all or you all or you plural, but in the feminine. All right. This will be in the feminine, in your feminine tense. Then you have your Ma. You have your Ma in the Syrian. All right. You have your Ma in the Syrian, in the ancient, meaning them. Then you have your Na. All right. You have your Na in the Syrian and the ancient, of course, which is them, but in the feminine. So next, all right, we're going to get into off, into the word off. Now, off is not technically a word, but I'm gonna have this up just for a little bit. Just give me 1 second to lock it. But just look at this. I'm gonna have it on the screen just for a little bit. I want y'all to take a look at it and remember it. All right. Okay, con. All right, so you see opt on the board. All right, so this is opt. Opt is used in conjunction with direct objects. All right, and so now you're probably wondering what exactly is a direct object. Well, a direct object are personal pronouns. All right, examples of a direct object is a personal pronoun. So, what do you guys know what a personal pronoun can be? Can y'all give me an example of a personal pronoun? Y'all give me some examples of a personal pronoun. Excuse me. All right, Chuba Yagadar. Okay, I, you, he. Okay, okay. Mm. Okay, so Trooper Shamai Gabar is is correct. All right, when you said him, theirs. So these are all, you guys are all pretty much in the right ballpark. You guys are right. All right, so those are good examples of personal pronouns. All right, now to ask you a better question, because I did ask you what a personal pronoun can be. A personal pronoun can either be object or possessive. All right, or even subject. That is true. But now, when it comes to personal pronouns, because opt is going to be used in conjunction with direct objects and also with verbs. All right, give me examples of personal pronouns that are used in conjunction with verbs. All right, and those are the personal pronouns you want to. Those are the personal pronouns that I would be referring to. All right, because opt is used in conjunction with a verb. Because here we go, opt will always be before the direct object no matter what. All right. And so if you guys do not know what a direct object is, let me show you. Let's go to Google. Direct. It's funny, direct object. And so a direct object, a noun phrase denoting a person or thing that is the recipient of the action of a transitive verb. For example, the dog and Jimmy fed the dog, right? The dog, that the in front of the dog created, that is now a direct object. Now the dog, right? Example, the dog and Jimmy fed the dog, right? The dog is the direct object. The transitive verb is fed. All right. So there has to be a verb used in conjunction with it to show you that this is the recipient of the action. A noun phrase denoting a person or thing that is the recipient of the action or a transitive verb for the example. All right. So if we go back to how to use a, that's why you see this the right there, because the in front of any noun, all right, that has created a object, a direct object, Salakia. And so those personal pronouns that I'm referring to, all right, that you guys gave me answers to, that is very, that's correct. He will fight. Okay, he will fight. That wouldn't be, that's just a regular sentence. It wouldn't, that would so much just be, you would just conjugate, um, he will fight. You would conjugate the verb to be. Or actually, no, you would conjugate the verb to fight in the future tense. All right, and I can get that for you. All right, to fight in the Hebrew should be malakama. Is it malakama? I believe it's malakama. Hold on. I think I'm saying something different. Like it. Malakama. Before I look it up, or is it malakama? Hmm. Mm-mm. I don't think it's malakama either. Kama. Is it malakama? I have malakama in my head for some reason. About to find out right now. But that mullah part doesn't sound right. Okay, it's lacha, lachama. All right, lachama. Hold on. Let me. All right, you see how it says to fight right here. All right, that's your lachama. And so when you look at that, for give Chuba Yagadar a hand. He got it right before I said lachama. All right, I kept on saying malachama because I kept on putting a ma, all right, in the front of the verb lachama. Salaki about that. So I was incorrect. I just added an extra letter, all right. But lachama is how you would really say it, meaning to fight. And so what you would really do is you would just conjugate that, all right, in the future tense, meaning he will fight. And if I'm not mistaken, you just keep it as is, lachama. All right, you keep it as is, lachama. That's the future tense for he will fight. Lachama. So like not lachama, lachama, lachama. All right, lachama would be she will fight in the feminine. Lachama, you put a ha at the end of it, right? So lachama is feminine, lachama is masculine. So lachama, lachama is masculine, lachama is feminine. And so in this case, all right, um, you would just conjugate it as is, but that's not showing a I should say a subject. I mean a direct object. So if I go to quick navigation and go to Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, this is the best example I can give you actually. All right. So you have Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 in the Hebrew, Bara'ashat Bara'a Alahayim At Hashemayim Wa'at Ha'arataza. All right. And so Bara'ashat meaning that ba, right? Meaning in Ra'ashat, the beginning. So that whole word, this is technically one whole word. All right. It's one whole word at times. But you see that ba, how it's by itself? Ra'ashat meaning beginning. That ba is in front of it meaning in the beginning. All right. It's usually said as one word because remember, your ba and then Ra'ashat. All right. Your ba is one word itself. So like, let me reiterate myself. That ba is its own word meaning in, and then ra'ashat, that's how you get beginning. All right. In some cases, it is one whole word, but just to let you know, that's where it comes from. That ba meaning in, ra'ashat, all right, meaning beginning. And so bara'ashat, bara'a meaning to create. All right, bara'a meaning to create, created, but meaning to create. So bara'ah, meaning to create. Alahayim, referring to the powers, all right, or the angels, of course, in the reference of the Most High, all right. So bara'ashat, bara'ah, alahayim, then you have ya'at. This is your op that we were just talking about, all right. It's so you can identify a direct object, all right. In this case, the direct object would be what? Hashemayim, all right. Hashemayim. Now, how is Hashemayim a direct object? Can anybody let me know how is Hashemayim a direct object? How is Hashemayim a direct object? Anybody want to give it a shot? How is Hashemayim? How is this a direct object? How is Hashemayim? It comes after Ak. That is true. At face value, it does come after Ak, but that's how you know it's a direct object. Yes, that is true in the Hebrew. All right. But what else makes it a direct object? You're right on it though. But what else? What makes it a direct object? Let's say you're new to structuring sentences, right? And you had no idea that you had to use "a." What what is a key identifier that makes you have to use "a"? Khan, Shalom, Yabba Shashabakata, for Chuba Call Sapar, the water. I see you out. Shema Gabar, the noun after it. Okay, it is dealing with the noun. All right, it is dealing with the noun after it. That is true. After the op, that is true. Okay, I'm gonna give it to y'all. So remember, all right, to give you more. Hold on, let me see. If I go, okay, so to give you more clarity on it, right? A direct object, all right. Okay, it's talking about a particular thing, all right, a particular thing with what's being used for the transitive verb or just with the verb anyway, right? And so the heaven, this is not talking about any heaven. If it just said Bara'asha, Bara'ah, all right. If it just said Bara'asha, Bara'ah, Shemayim, right? Well, I'm pressing on the screen like I'm on it. Hold on. So let's minimize this, right? Exit that. So let's say Bara'asha Bara'ah Alahayim, and let's say the ath is gone, right? If you take the ath out, all right, and it just says Hashemayim, right? This is this is no longer a direct object, all right. But if you can take the ha out, actually, if you want, because you can say created heaven, or created, or created heaven, or heavens, whatever the case may be, because in Hebrew, all right, it doesn't, sometimes a word is already plural by default, so you don't have to pluralize a pluralized word. All right, Shemayim is a pluralized word; it's automatically plural, even though you can use it in a singular tense. It's already plural. All right, and so I don't confuse too many people on that one. So let's say Shemayim, right? Let's say Bara'asha Bara'ah Alahayim Shemayim. All right, that is no longer a direct object, because it's just talking about any heaven, or it could be talking about any heavens. All right, because heaven or heavens is not always where the Lord is. All right, heavens could be referring to the skies, and within the sky, there's different parts of the heaven. You got the different atmosphere and the stratosphere, and all get different atmospheres like the stratosphere and the exosphere and all these different spheres, and that's referring to the heavens, referring to anything in the sky. Like there are different kinds of heavens. All right. And so, with that being said, it's nothing in particular. It's nothing specified. But if you put Ha Shemayim, this is talking about a particular heaven. All right. And that's what makes it a direct object. So, everybody understands? So, if I say, let's say if I switch it out and I said the rock, so the article the will make it a direct object. Give Chuba Shemai Gabar a hand. That's exactly what I want to say. The article the, all right, article the right there, right? So ha means the, all right, and correct. Ha does mean the, right? So the article the will make it a direct object. That's what makes it a direct object, is that the in front of heavens. And so for a better example, if I said the rock, right? This isn't talking about any random Joe Smo rock. This is talking about the rock, the rock. Like this is a specialized rock. All right, whatever the case may be. If I tell you go grab me the rock, you know that this is a specified rock I'm asking you to grab me. So if you grab me any other kind of rock outside the rock I asked you for, you would just be wilding. You guys get the point? And that's the purpose of a direct object. In Hebrew, it lets you know that this is talking about something in particular and specific. All right. And so when you see Bara'asha Bara'ah Alahayim Av Hashemayim, right? This is how you know the heaven. This is a particular heaven that the Lord is creating here. All right. Then Wa'af Ha'arataza, and now you see that wa is not in front of the Ha'arataza. You put the wa in front of the af. You can do that. That wa is a article meaning and. All right, that wa in front of af that you see right there, that wa meaning and. Like that's why I was going over Hebrew prefixes, because Hebrew prefixes are important to know, because they're a part of structuring sentences. They're a part of reading the Hebrew. You want to be able to distinguish letters and different kinds of letters within the words, or this is going to confuse you just like this. All right, not saying this is what's confusing you guys. I'm just saying for an example, all right, down the line, a lot of these scriptures are going to have a bunch of everything everywhere, and you might get a little confused, and it's okay to get kind of confused at first. That's why it's important to come to the Hebrew class and ask your questions and just learn, because it's going to really unconfuse you, and you're really going to see what Hebrew for really what it is. All right, so you have wa'ah, then you have ha'arataza, meaning the earth. Right? This is not, now the reason why it's the earth Anybody tell me why is it the earth? Y'all let me know, why is it the earth? Someone that knows Hebrew, someone that knows the Bible a little. Why is it saying the earth? That ha meaning the, and then arataza meaning earth. Why is it saying the earth? Like, this is why direct objects and using is, very important in Hebrew, because unlike English, you may not really have this. Well, in English, all right, you don't really have this problem, but in Hebrew you will, because our words. I don't want to give it away. All right, I want to see if y'all can catch it. Why is it ha? Why is ha arataza? Why is it important for it to be a direct object? How is ha arataza a direct object? Or why is it a direct object in this case? Why does it have to be a ha in front of arataza? That's the question, right? Why is there a ha in front of arataza, meaning earth or land? Anybody want to give it a shot? Y'all let me know y'all answers. Why is the ha in front of arataza? Why did the Lord have to make it a direct object here? And if you guys can answer this, then you can truly understand the Hebrew, all right, and truly understand the spirit of our language. 1 second. All right, so like here we are. All right. Okay, so we see Truba Yagador highlights the earth versus the different worlds. Okay, true. Okay, I see that. And Truba Shema Gabar, the earth is his possession. Okay, Khan. So Truba Shema Gabar, okay, that is okay. That is true. The earth is the Lord's. All right. And so that is true. All right. And that could easily be so. But there's also something more dealing with the Hebrew, so to speak. All right. In Truba Yagadar, you pretty much hit it spot on, right? When it says highlights the earth versus the different worlds. Give Truba Yagadar a hand. All right. That is pretty much the right answer. Highlights the earth versus the different worlds. But now let me give you the real solid answer. All right, the real solid answer. Now you guys are both right and you guys are both there. But dealing with the Hebrew, right? Arataza. All right, if I click on Arataza, if I click on Ha Arataza and Arataza, the verb, it says land, earth, whole earth as opposed to heaven, earth, inhabitants, land, all right, country, territory, district, region, tribal territory. So there's so many meanings, all right? There's so many meanings of arataza that you can use it for. Ground, soil, all right, people of the land, all these things is what arataza can mean. And so because it has so much meaning, right? Because there's so much meaning in that one word, when we go back, let's take it back, going back. And it says arataza, you know that this is not talking about any specific, it's not talking about any land. All right, it's not talking about the land, the people of the land. It's not talking about Israel, whatever. In this case, no, this is talking about the earth, the land that the Lord is creating. This is the earth. So there's no confusion. So when brothers and sisters are reading these scripts, so when the brothers are reading their scripts, and and we come into our records and we are reading these scriptures, right? We can finally say, okay, we know for sure the land that the Lord is creating isn't just any land. This is the land. This is the earth that the Lord is creating in this context. And so it has to be a direct object. So now, can you guys kind of see what I mean by how important? Now, in Hebrew, is that's why direct objects are very important in Hebrew. So there's no confusion of what's being said. All right. It's not always necessary for a direct object to be used. All right. But in some cases, you may have to make something clear. All right. That's what that opt is there for. So you know what direct, so you know the direct, so you know the direct object. All right. And so in many cases, you can use it with different nouns. I mean, with different verbs. All right. Well, of course, with different nouns and verbs used in conjunction with each other. All right. But always remember one of the rules: opt will always be before the direct object, no matter what. All right. No matter what. And so now, in other cases, all right, there's now personal pronouns with I. Now, this is what it looks like to have personal pronouns with I. So, personal pronouns used in conjunction with I. In this case, these are object pronouns used in conjunction with the word I, which is not a word. I is a identifier. Opt helps you identify the direct object. So opt comes before the direct object because it's there to help you identify the direct object. And so because and of course now we know that the direct object is always going to come after opt, and of course opt comes before the direct object. You guys get what I just did right there. You guys get the point. And so now in this case, all right, opt is still before the direct object. In this case, this is the personal pronoun. And so if you want to say to give me something, like I want you to give me something, me is a personal pronoun, an object pronoun to be in particular. And I say you want to give me something. All right. Me me is the direct object because I'm the personal pronoun me. There is only me. I am me. There is no other me. I want you to understand that this is me. that I want you to give whatever to. And so give me something, instead of saying Nathanya, I'm going to tell you to say Nathan ya. Now, the Nathan is the verb itself, and then ya. All right. Nathan ya, give me. All right. Bubble Kwasha, whatever it is to give me. Give me my cup. I would say, now, of course, since I know, okay, well, let's kind of play around with it before we end class. All right. How would you, I'm going to be talking in the present tense. For anybody in class who knows, okay, of course, okay, I'm talking to you in particular. So, of course, since I'm talking to you, what would be the subject pronoun? First things first, let's identify the subject pronoun. If I'm talking to you, then what would be the subject pronoun? If I'm talking to you, right, I'm talking to you individually, all right? Let's say I'm talking to Trooper Shamai Gabar individually, or I'm talking to Trooper Yagadar individually, or Officer Mataza I individually, all right? I'm talking to you individually. What would be the subject pronoun that I would use? What would be the subject pronoun that I use? Remember, subject pronoun. Remember subject pronoun. What would be the subject pronoun that I use? Select. That's correct. You would be the subject pronoun. Now, because you is the subject pronoun, all right. No, I wouldn't use hawa. I wouldn't use hawa. Hawa is he. All right. Hawa is he. All right. If I was talking, if I was talking of somebody, I would use he. Right. If I was talking to you about someone else, and that person is a he, that's when I would use he. But since I'm directly talking to you, Chubiyagadar, I would be using the subject pronoun you. So I'm telling you to do something for me in particular, or you do this for me in particular, whatever the case may be. So I have to use the subject pronoun you. Now, because I'm using the subject pronoun you, we identified our subject pronoun. Now, I'm using the verb nathan. Nathan means to give. Now, I'm talking in the present tense. So how would I conjugate you in the masculine tense? I'm gonna keep it simple because I'm talking to brothers here. All right. I'm talking to a brother here, and whatever the case, I say a brother, so no confusion. I'm talking to a brother here. And so we identified our subject pronoun. How would I conjugate Nathan? All right. How would I conjugate Nathan based off the subject pronoun you in the present tense? Since I'm going to be presently asking you this question, or to do this and fulfill this order, whatever the case may be. How would I conjugate Nathan based off the subject pronoun you in the present tense? What would I do? How would it be said? Of course, we know you, all right, in Hebrew is atha. All right, if you guys do not know, atha is you. Subject pronoun you is atha, all right, in the Hebrew. Give Chuba Yagadar a hand. Nawathan. Nawathan is how you would conjugate Nathan based off the subject pronoun you or atha. All right, that's how you would do it. So far we have atha nawathan. Now, because I'm asking you to give me something, I would say athya. All right, athya. So I'm asking you, all right, so you would say, I would say atha Nawathan afya. Afya meaning to give me. I wouldn't say Nawathanya. I would say Nawathan afya. All right. So ata Nawathan afya. And let's say I want you to give me my cup. All right. Kawas is cup. But how would you say my cup in Hebrew? Kawas is cup. How would you say my cup in Hebrew? Anybody? Anybody remember the subject? I mean the possessive pronoun for my. Anybody remember? How would you say my cup in Hebrew? How would you say my cup in Hebrew? Kawas is cup. Give Chuba Yagadar a hand. Ya at the end. You put a ya at the end of it, right? And so now we have kawasya, kawasya meaning my cup. And so a full sentence would be me asking you to give me my cup, right? I'm asking Truba Yagadar to give me my cup, or I'm asking Trooper Shema Gabar to give me my cup, or I'm asking Trooper Akal Sapar to give me my cup, or I'm asking Officer Mataza Al Kora Salaki to give me my cup, right? I'm asking this, but I'm talking to you in particular. So because I'm talking to you, I would say ata nawatan, and I'm talking in the present tense. So I would say ata nawatan afya kawasya. All right. If you don't want to put the ata there, you don't have to. You can just say nawatan afya kawasya. All right. Nawatan afya kawasya. Now, do you see how that is a fluent sentence, structured perfectly? Very basic, right? Now, how hard was that? Can anybody tell me from a scale 1 to 10, how hard was it to structure that sentence? All right. It probably was a 1. It wasn't hard, right? It wasn't hard at all for y'all to do so. All right. Now, of course, that's why I was letting you guys know the more verbs you know and the more nouns you know, right? The better. Because then all you have to do is work on grammar and practice grammar, and then really just it's all about repetition. It's about being repetitious. All right. It's about studying really. It's all about studying and studying and studying and studying to where you can memorize these things, and it's just going to become a second nature to you be able to just create sentences. All right. You guys get my point? So it's very easy. I just I just showed you guys how to structure. That wasn't even a basic sentence. I would consider that like a medium level grade sentence because you had to know ah, all right? So because you had to know ah, it kind of made it somewhat advanced. So you guys just created an advanced sentence. Now imagine the basic sentences that you guys are going to be able to create with the more studying you guys know, and the more grammar you know, and the more verbs you know, and the more nouns you know. You just want to study a bunch of words. You just want to know as many words as possible and take notes of them. There might be words that you may study that I never seen before, and that's fine. All right, that's fine. And you be like, and you can ask me what that word means or how to properly say that word, and I'll give it to you. And it's a new word that we now both know. You know what I'm saying? Like this Hebrew is something important. All right, you really want to buckle down and learn it. All right, how glorious it be just to ask someone for your cup at Passover. All right, how cool would it be? You'd be like, hey, Nawatan Afya Kawasha Baba Kwasha. It's a sentence. It's almost like you're speaking English, but just Hebrew. So y'all want to keep that in mind. All right. A little bit over the time, for everybody understand. Most High in Christ. All right. So with that, I say Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Barakatham to the brothers, and Shalom, Yahweh Shamar, Allah Thun Ba'Shem Yahushua to the sisters. Shalom.